Let's continue understanding our files that we copy-pasted in few episodes back. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. In previous episode, we looked at the files that we copied under build src folder and access widener and focus under the Gradle folder. In this video, we will talk about module validation. Now, module validation is an automatic task module that will do a checklist each time we want to run a task. For example, let's say it like this. If I want to do a repetitive checkup, every time I want to build this whole project, I want to validate each project to make sure that things are correct. So I will add those tasks here, and then somewhere in my main build.gradle file, I will assign this module validation to the proper thing that I want. The first block, subprojects. What does it mean? It means that, hey, in my project structure, find every single one of my subprojects and do the things that I want in each one of them, and then move to the next, do it again, move to the next, do it again, move to the next, do it again, until you finish all the line. However, to start with, we want to ignore few projects. Now remember, IT here, or the it keyword, means the project that we are working on. So for example, the config subproject or the base subproject, whatever. So we say if the project name equals to glibs-bomb, or if it is equal to glibs-catalog, return. Remember, these are meta projects. Meta projects does not contain the real code. It's just information that we will use when we are building our Maven artifacts. So we don't need any validation there because they don't have anything other than a single build.gradle. Other than that, if the project is none of these two, please start with defining a validate module as a task. And this is a tasks.register. So we are registering the task and assigning that task to a variable. The task is called the validate module, and this one is the task that we want, validate module task. Then we say from the tasks that we have, remember we had this check? From the tasks that we have, find a check and make sure that the check is depending on this task that we have. In other words, we want to make sure that our validate module task is happening before the check. So each time we want to run the check, we will come back and first execute our code and then continue on the check. This validate module task is an abstract class extending the default task. And this is how you write your own custom tasks in Gradle. So we have an input file called getFMJ, and this is fabric.mod.json file. It's a regular file property. Then the property of string, get the project name, get the project path, get the loader version, and all of them are strings. Then we want to validate the module task. This is the constructor. We say the group equals to verification, so it will happen here under verification. It will show up here. This line outputs dot up to date when true means that, hey, we don't care about the outputs of your task. Execute it. Whatever the task result is, we don't care. Continue to the checking on the check task. So don't break the flow of the task execution because we just want to output these results. We say that for the file from the project, find this file under source main resources fabric.mod.json. If the file does not exist, means that we didn't produce any FMJ, then we say file, project file, find under client, because the Fabric API is doing a split source code, and I may want to continue that approach, and I will talk about the reason. When you have the split source code, you have a main and client source sets, and we will look at that. And each one of these source sets have their own FMJ. However, when we are a server-side mod, then we have it under main. If we find it, okay, we don't care about the client. If the file was not found, means that this is a client-only mod, then we want to look at the client source set and we see if we have an FMJ there. What if it's not there anymore? Well, this section will cause an error. And regardless of that error, we will continue checking. But if we find a file, then we say, hey, set the file as FMJ. We found it. We want to assign the project name, project path, and loader version, and simply we can retrieve them from the project itself, so name, path, and loader version. By executing this constructor, we gathered the information that we need. And finally, on the validate action, we say that, hey, from the FMJ, get the file. We want a JSON slurper because FMJ is JSON file. Convert it to the understandable JSON format. Then if the JSON.custom equals null, module, we will throw an exception that says module block does not have a custom value containing module life cycle. Okay. Then we have a module life cycle that gets from Fabric API module life cycle. Wait a minute. Don't we need to change this? The reason they have this is that beforehand under Focus, if you recall, they had added in this life cycle thing as a dependency for every sub-project, isn't it? Let's take a look at that. It's right here, I think. No, it's not. Actually, it's adding Fabric registry sync version 0 and to game test. Okay, it's not that. Then what is this? Basically, it says that verifies that each module has the required custom values for module lifecycle in its FMJ. In other words, it will have custom and then Fabric-API module lifecycle stable. Okay, I would change it a little bit, and for time being, I will convert it to glibs. I may drop this, honestly. So let's see, module lifecycle instance of a screen has an invalid module lifecycle value. The value must be a string, but it reads whatever. Then switch back on the values. You have stable, experimental, or deprecated. If it's a stable or experimental, break, go out. If it's deprecated, then if the project is not started with deprecated name, then it will yell at us that, hey, the project must be marked as deprecated in the name and breaks out. Otherwise, there is something wrong here again. Then JSON depends equals to null, so we didn't convert it to JSON or whatever reason. And Fabric loader does not equal to greater or equal the loader version. Okay, so far in this whole thing, I'm not sure about this life cycle thing. We may have it, we may drop it. The whole idea here is that they want to make sure that whenever they are building something, they have this custom entry inside their FMJ that says Fabric API module lifecycle is a stable or, I don't know, experimental. And if it's deprecated, they want to see the deprecated name in front of the project. For me, I'm sure I will not have this. I'm sure I will not have anything experimental or stable as a lifecycle because, well, let's face it. For example, right now, my library is an experimental in many sub-projects. I'm not exporting them inside a public Maven. I will only do it whenever I'm really sure that it's okay. So my life cycle thing will not be there, okay? And it says does not have a depends value. Let's check our FMJ, for example, for this guy, it says depends. So it's checking that it should has a depends value first because then it looks at the depends and checks its Fabric loader to be equal or greater than the loader version. The loader version, remember, we got it from the project. Now I can add to that because the Minecraft version is important and get loader version. Okay, let's mimic what we have. So we will copy this guy. We will paste and make as input and we call it get Minecraft version. And then here, copy paste. This is Minecraft version. Interesting. Equals to project.minecraft underline version. Make sure that it's the same thing here. So loader version, that's this guy. And inside FMJ, we have that loader version or Fabric loader. Then for Minecraft, we want to change this first section. Okay, I will duplicate this and I will say it's this guy with the Minecraft version.get, but JSON depths dot. Now here's the thing, it's this guy, Minecraft. Does not equal to our Minecraft version, valid Minecraft version value. Go to the Minecraft, but expected the project.minecraft. This eliminates one of my concerns. Each time I upgrade Minecraft, normally I forget to go back and change these FMJs. However, as I said, there is a way to handle them in publishing or whatever, handling the resources inside build.gradle. So this is a little bit of hard checking that if you are doing them manually before having a finished build and just trying to run it and see that there is a problem with FMJ, this will throw an exception for you saying that, hey, your versioning is wrong, fix them. The custom section, if you look, normally we don't have it. So we don't need that because remember, again, the custom section was related to the life cycle, okay? And without a life cycle, we don't have any custom entry to check. Now, I will stop the video here because this was the validation. In the next video, we will go for the versioning Gradle. Have fun, everyone. Bye.